Welcome back to the reality, guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian,
What's going on, buddy?
joined by Kevin
Hello.
and Brett.
I plead the fifth.
Very appropriate for the show. Nice background there, Brett. We are here to do a season review, a whole season retrospective of Jury Duty. Jury Duty was what was it, Freebie? What was it called?
Yeah, freebie.
Freebie.
Yeah, which I didn't know was part of Amazon Prime.
Yeah, which basically go on Amazon Prime and you can watch this. 9 episode Jury Duty first season. Executive produced by James Marston, who is also a participant in the show. If you did not watch the show and you just kind of are watching this from our point of view to kind of give you an idea what it on, just full warning, full spoilers for the season. Interesting to say that as we get into what the show actually is, to say full spoilers. Jury Duty was a scripted reality show about just that, about jury duty, specifically revolving around Ronald Gladden. Ronald Gladden is a 30-year-old project manager. Dude works at Home Depot, gets pulled in for jury duty, but it's not as it seems. What we have been let to know is like a Truman Show, and everybody is an actor. Everything is produced. None of this is real except for Ronald. Goes through the entire set of circumstances, including meeting his new BFF, James Marston, and learning about a bunch of his roles. I want to just give you guys' general reaction to it. We're going to hit into our favorite jurors. We'll get into the case a little bit. We're just going to sit here and really riff. Kev, you are the one who sent this out to the group. I want to give you the floor to start, and then guys kind of jump in general feelings. I'll kind of throw the next question out there.
I mean, I hopped on this like the second I found out about it. I thought it was like just a hilarious concept in general. And then when I started watching it, like first like 2 episodes were kind of slow. But then once you started to like kind of put two and two together as to like them obviously acting and him obviously like reacting to them acting, it was like an improv, but he didn't know he was on it. And then on top of that, like the character development between the jurors, other than Ronald and himself, was phenomenal. Like the one kid who had like who didn't think the human body was like significantly good enough. He always
Todd.
were like,
What the hell?
Oh, hello. How are you?
What are you doing?
Oh, I was
Todd,
just,
what are these?
I was just sitting before we went off to court.
Are they crutches?
These are chair pants or chants.
yeah, he was hilarious. Then like you had the grandma that would like randomly fall asleep. There was that
You're
story.
talking about Barb. Yeah, Barb.
Barb. And then you had the girl who was like the cool, like closest one to him, friend, with her crush on the other guy. Which how that all came about was hilarious.
So you're talking Jeannie was like the deadhead, and oh god, Noah. Noah was the nerd.
Yeah.
Noah was the nerd. Yeah, Noah was a favorite of mine. Noah with the breakup with the fake girlfriend,
Right.
losing his mind. Brian, what do you think of the show?
No, I really enjoyed it. I can echo everything that Kevin said. It's fun to watch these shows every once in a while, especially because we watch so much real, I guess, fake reality TV that we also deal with all the time. But like this is also, it's just a nice little subsection, and I really enjoyed it. It was funny. Like I like the situations they got in. Probably my favorite part was the insertion sex part where like James is jumping on the bed. Like I thought that whole concept of that scene was just like really funny, like just super original. And
Well, you know that's a real thing.
Really?
That people do that.
The mattress,
Yeah.
like, so what is that?
Yeah,
Technically not cheating if you're
it's
not.
called soaking, and Mormons do it when they're in college, and the guy and just sit there. That's all they do, and then they have somebody what they call shake the bed, and they'll shake the mattress like they were doing, so that it's not necessarily them. An outside force is doing it, and it's like the same people that say like type
Hold on
of
a
thing.
second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
This is a real thing. Look
I
at
know,
it.
I believe you. I completely
Yeah.
believe you, but that doesn't sound enjoyable at all because you have to be jumping like so hard for it to be like getting any form of gratitude, in my opinion.
Bro, you have to realize the tenderness of these untouched parts in their entire life up until these points. That
Wouldn't they have already like
They
let
have to
go
leave
before
room for
they even
Jesus.
inserted
Okay,
themselves?
and there's room for
No,
Jesus on the
yeah.
mattress. Okay,
Especially if you
Yeah.
have James Marsden jumping on your bed, then I mean, no holds bar
the
there.
James Marsden thing is the whole key to the whole show.
That's what I was gonna
The
say.
fact that he's just like the perfect level of celebrity, but he played it so perfect that he was just this kind of dickhead who wanted to be
Oh, God.
recognized and tried so hard and screwed so many things up. I loved it. It was like one of those things where you wish that you could have James Marsden do this again. You know, it can never happen.
Right, you can't happen again.
I was
But like,
wondering how they got him, but I guess you said he's the executive producer.
he's one of the executives.
I think it was like mostly his idea. Like from
and
what
I thought
I've been hearing.
I thought they maybe like blew their budget just trying to get James Marsden in the premiere, and then they were going to let him like call out of jury duty, but then he became a regular. And I think the show would have been way worse if they didn't have him in there because, I mean, you can't just have all random people because you throw a celebrity in the mix, and then Ronald's like, oh, there's a celebrity there. I want to go hang out and be buddy with him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was smart because what you see in episode 9, which I really loved, you guys know me, is like I love the producing side of like anything, whether it's real film or the reality TV, seeing the rehearsals, the strategic planning of where people are. So you're sitting in the right seat for the cameras, like the idea that you have James Marsden be a heavy presence early on. So a lot of that focus is going towards him, and it allows all those jurors a lot of time to actually build up his people, right? And by the time James Marsden's kind of like on the sideline per se, he's really not suspicious of these other people because he's like, well, that was the craziest things. And that's where like the crutch legs and things like that are able to work because he already just had like a celebrity as a juror who was like crazy and it's like, oh, that's gonna be such a funny story like when I'm out of here, that it was just enough. I mean, the balance of the directors and the producers again is my favorite part. I mean, it was a funny show. It was almost like you were watching Community, right? Then also with a behind the scene DVD of like a movie, which was a great kind of cool combination, I thought.
James Marsden obviously like is a main character because he's the only famous one, but I was wondering with these other people, were they supposed to become best friends with Ronald, or did that just happen? Like he could have been best friends with some of these other characters that got less screen time, and it was just kind of dependent on who clicks with Ronald and where Ronald goes, and then that's who you get on camera more, like the Genie and Noah.
I think they probably, I mean, like you saw in episode 9, they did have some like storylines and plot threads that they wanted to play out, and even some that played out, like the racism one that they actually said, you know what, we're not going to do, and then it came up naturally, so it had to become part of it. Because they knew who the jurors were going to be, so I'm sure they had like it was almost like you're playing like a telltale game, and it's like you make this choice, and hopefully it plays out how you want it, where there's some like usable scenarios, but I don't think that it was like, okay, well, if he ends up liking this person we didn't plan on using, we're going to completely flip the script, because they had things so planned out, except for a couple random hiccups they said in episode 9 where they, the COVID thing and all like that to try to separate people. And
did you guys ever read those books when you're younger where it's like you at the bottom of the page, it's like, now go to page 45, and then
Choose
if you
your own
did
adventure.
Yeah. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
No, well, Telltale game is a choose your own adventure. So it's a video game version of that.
Yeah, like eventually, like you said, like you have those major points where you're gonna have to go there at some point, but you can have these like little subsections where like maybe he would become friends with Noah, and maybe in this other one he's like more or less like a lesser character in his arc.
Right.
So I wonder, like what Brett said, like maybe it just depends, like that's the way it went, but
like
I enjoyed it.
The very beginning when like, okay, we wanted him to sit in this specific chair. I don't remember which characters were near those chairs, but like if you want Genie or Marsden to be like the main characters too, you just put them in the chair that you want him to go to, and that's where that starts, I guess.
Yeah, it was that him, James, Genie, and Noah were in his
exactly.
area.
Yeah, because that's where the Family Guy conversation happens in the initial.
Right.
And hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. When I get picked for jury duty, I like to do those questions too, where I pretend I do like fake traits of myself to not get picked.
So you used to do the fake racism card.
Well, also like I hate cops or I suck with cops. Like you just got to go so
cops,
extreme on one thing.
That's religion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Violence, like, oh, like I've been a part of violence.
I was on a jury one time.
Days you celebrate January 6th.
Should we like blur? Should we bleep this? Actually,
What?
this could be incriminating.
No.
No, we're fine.
Never
if like maybe I'll make some funny noises when Kevin's talking about like insertion, but like besides
Like the SpongeBob cursing.
Oh
episode.
yeah,
donkey or like leave room for Jesus like tag when he's talking, just something. We respect the Mormons and their mattress escapades.
Dude, I find it amazing. Like it's such a like funny thing. Like it's just a whole different way of
I'm
life.
sure more
And I
than
like
just
learning about
Mormons do it. I'm sure this is like if we really went down this nasty rabbit hole, there would be a lot of
There's this TikToker that goes to like Utah or something, or like BYU maybe, and just like interviews.
I have that guy on my algorithm. What's the craziest thing that's happened here?
She talks about it, man. Yeah, like there's one where he interviews like, what's the craziest thing you ever done?
Dude, I soaked last night, man. I soaked like three chicks on the same bed.
She said I shook a bed for soaking.
I'm declaring that that
was the craziest thing she ever did.
I'm declaring right here, everyone, the reality guys did not have an official stance on soaking, and we probably do not plan on taking an official stance on soaking.
It's dumb.
Basically a threesome, so it's worse than normal sex.
Anything that's expressed here is individual and not the reality guys. LLC.
Like it's like when we were 12 and you don't know what anything feels like, and like, oh, dude, they try it for the first time.
Throw allegedly in there a few times.
The person on the bed is a cuck, pretty much.
Allegedly.
No.
Yes.
Supposedly.
Yeah. I guess in technical term.
All right. I want to hear as far as conversationally, I want to hear everyone's favorite juror. My favorite juror was Barb. I thought Barb was great.
The older lady?
Oh yeah. She was classic. The sleeping in court was one of my favorite bits, period. The entire
and that
show.
Was so funny because it forced him to just constantly, and that was a way of like they wanted Barb to be in, like we were talking earlier. So they purposely had to come up with a storyline for her to be falling asleep, and he had to watch her as juror number 4 or whatever, so that he could bump her. So they moved him right next to her, moved her right next to him.
The foreman.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, she was that was hilarious. I think mine's definitely the kid with the crutch legs, the crutch like seats and all that stuff. Because dude, there would be random times where they would like cut to him and he's just sticking up one of those things that you would see like
a Obi-Wan nose.
Yeah, but like Obi-Wan did before he like went into
before he went underwater.
Yeah, went underwater. One of those things, and he's just like, and he'll like randomly just have cups on his like sides of his glasses. Like the little subtle touches with that were so funny.
Obi-Wan getting underwater to see the Gungans and the Naboo is not what I thought I was going to hear.
There's always a bigger fish.
Yeah.
I really like the judge and Lonnie.
The judge underrated. The
funny,
judge.
Man. I enjoyed the judge.
So, dude, and is the bailiff Lonnie?
I thought that was the guy. Yeah, he was the guy that was with James as like the alternate, and then Lonnie got chosen, and he just had
yeah.
He only had like 5 one-liners the whole show, but
they're funny, man.
Or dude, when they're doing the cake, his one-liner was, why aren't there any black people on that? And then they like try to do it. That whole thing happens, and then they're like the dude comes back after his wife just basically came to tell him she wasn't gonna make it, and then they're like trying to calm everybody down, and you just see this dude still in the back trying to like catch something, and everybody's like, dude, he's trying to. It's like there's so much like little gold in it. That was such a good show.
Ken was really good. His slow talk cadence and like how he made himself seem like he was almost like Milton from Office Space. Basically, he made himself very soft-spoken, very like delayed, and it turns out he like is like a director of like some crazy ops at like UC Irvine. Like before, he used to be an actor and he got cast on this show. Like some of these actors, I'm really curious to see like
the one guy I have seen before in like I want to say he was like a writer for The Office or something.
Yeah, David Brown.
He's like he was a taller, skinny, like janitor looking guy.
Recognized him. And I was like, if I was there, I would have known that guy as an actor because I've seen him before.
Same. I would have questioned that. I immediately would have been like, that's weird that there's two here. What are the odds of that? But I don't know. I'm glad you saw that because in my head I was like, I know that
I have no idea
was in something.
But I recognized him, and that's curious too because like if he had asked like, "Oh, what do you do for work?" and he lies about the acting, I'm like, "No, I know you're an actor."
Mm-hmm.
He probably have some crap where he's like, "Oh, I've done one or two things," and
they never touched on him really in the show.
Right. So like I was wondering if that was intentional or he just never really bonded with Ronald enough to get screen time.
Yeah.
I think overall.
Wait, Brian. Who is the bailiff? Like the short black lady that like just makes jokes and like
she was funny too.
Yeah, she's not listed actually on this first cast list, so I'd have to.
She was good.
Find it.
I mean,
I thought she was really funny.
I personally think other than James Marsden, like Jeannie was like the big star because she just was so out there and outlandish, and it's kind of weird. Like, why? I guess I would have expected her to hit on Ronald. Instead, she hit on Noah. So that was an interesting, I guess, character arc where instead she's like, "Hey, I have the hots for this other dude. Help me out."
Dude, the thing that really makes this work was how naturally nice of a person Ronald was. Like, he never got irritated with the amount of bullshit that he had.
I would be pissed if I was there.
He was patient. You're right, Kev. He was very patient.
Like he never lost his cool, and he was always super supportive and nice to like anything that. All right, like we just got to get through this.
All
like,
the bullshit.
Yeah, like and the fact that they appointed him like the main guy, that they took it like out of the like courtroom and was like now all of a sudden this guy's the go-to and like
was he juror 54? Is that what his number was?
Number 4. He was number 6, but they made him.
He was number 6. I love when the judge would be like, "Juror, you got to keep these people in line."
Yeah.
They made him like the main guy.
And he immediately is like, "Oh yeah, fuck
yeah, God, the judge is mad at me today."
He was initially juror 54, and then then he won. Yeah, I was looking at the picture because I see his name tag. It's the only reason I didn't say.
Bang.
Yeah, it just says 6.
Yeah, so he went from 54 and then became 6 on the main jury. That's good. It's like his Jordan numbers. It's good to track.
Yeah,
that's true. 23 and 45.
I like these type of shows. This was very akin, not exactly the same, but very similar to The Rehearsal. And you guys know I was a big fan of The Rehearsal. So this was, they were both comedies, right? Rehearsal a little different because of like the narration versus the kind of interview style, like The Office or like Community. So again, I think there's room for both types. My last question for you guys is, what do they do next? Do they try to pull off a second season? Do they try to pull off like a different scenario? Like, or do you think this is just a one and done? And I would be fine with that, but I'm curious what you guys think.
I feel like pulling off a jury duty again would be hard, but they could do a similar concept in another.
Yeah, like a DMV or something, but it would be shorter. Or like, I don't know.
Yeah, like where can you get
my next question would be is who would be the next perfect actor for this? Which is so hard because you need to think about somebody that's like exactly like him. Every time I saw him, it's like, that's that dude from Westworld. And like I forgot.
That's a great comment section. Who you guys would think the best next like mole would be per se?
When they were
talking
the best
like Sonic? Location. Yeah. Oh god.
When they were talking about Sonic, he's like, not that good of a movie, and he's like, oh man, really?
Yeah. And like, dude, it was just so funny. Like the fact that Ronald did not know him so much that like he was like, yeah, like I was in the new Sonic. And he was like, oh, yeah, just figuring he was some guy small. And he's like, yeah, I was in, like, the Notebook. He's like, you were in the Notebook? And it's like, like, you think about it, it's like, oh, yeah, he, like, was prominent.
He's like, who are you? Notebook. He's like the other guy.
Yeah, and he, like, went home and watched it that night, too. He's like, yeah, dude, great movie. I was like, that movie was not that good.
And then he talks about A Bug's Life.
Well, he says the Westworld, and he's like, you were in the Westworld? He's like, yeah, he's, like, actually in the Westworld. He's like,
oh, dude, you're an X-Men.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you're, like, what? Like,
he
was the perfect person.
You knew him from Sex. He got it signed. He had like a home.
Yeah,
DVD.
yeah. I had to Google who he was in Sex Trap, but then as soon as I saw it, I remember the character. Didn't somebody call him Gambit? Like, oh, weren't you Gambit in X-Men? And he really was Cyclops. Didn't somebody do that
Yeah,
too?
yeah. They were doing that to troll him though, because
Yeah,
they
it's
thought it was
funny.
just funny to like get the character like pissed
Well,
off and stuff.
and then the judge, when James was trying to get excused, the judge was like, "I don't know who you are. Does anyone know who this guy is?"
That's why the judge was great. He was like the
so
perfect
good.
jerk.
Oh, the best was when the judge is like trying to tell him like how little of a celebrity he was, and he's like, John Ratzenberger. John Ratzenberger was a ideal. He's like, who's John? He's like, from Cheers. Norm from Cheers. He's Cliff from Cheers. If Cliff from Cheers could do this, you could do it.
Yeah, it was good.
Freaking
Dude,
John
gold.
Ratzenberger.
So many
deep
good
clip.
one-liners.
No, that's a show that like 10 years from now we go back again and we do a retro reel of it. It will be very funny again because you'll forget a lot of this stuff. But yeah, overall, guys, I think a positive thing I would definitely going to recommend like on our socials and our community for people to check this show out. Like I said, it's all on Amazon, free with ads. They're not that bad. There's a few per episode, so they're very manageable. Make sure you're subscribed here. Check out our TikTok. Subscribe on Instagram and Twitter as well. We are covering everything and anything reality TV that you can think of. All the relationship shows like Love is Blind, the adventure shows like Below Deck, competition shows like Survivor and Challenge, and even, like I said, these one-off weirder shows like this. So follow us and you will be able to scratch your itch for all that kind of reality TV coverage. But for myself, Brian, Kevin, Brett, thank you.
Yeah.